From an estate planning standpoint, let me use this analogy. You go to the grocery store because you want a dozen eggs. So you go to the egg section and you open up the top and make sure that none of them are cracked, and you carefully put it in your basket or in your shopping cart, and you pay for the eggs and you put it in a bag. Carefully take the bag with the eggs and put it into the car. You drive home safely, and then you drive into the garage and you open the door and you take the bag of eggs and you drop it on the floor. That's what estate planning usually is like.
Today's guest is a trust, estate, and probate lawyer in Phoenix, Arizona, who, after inheriting a very large sum of money, learned firsthand what his trust and estates clients go through by going through himself. Paul Deloughery has one of the wildest stories I've ever heard, and it was a joy to chat with him today. I'm grateful for Paul's time, and I'm excited for you to hear it. So let's get into it. Paul, how are you? Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ashley. I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah. So excited to talk to you. You and I have met a few times. And you know, Paul, what stuck out to me, the reason when I'm always thinking about who do I want to talk to, I love these conversations. You have a great mind for marketing. That's how our original conversation happened. You can tell you like to tinker with it and enjoy doing it. So I'm excited to get into that. But first of all, tell everybody who you are, what do you do, and where do you do it?
Sure. Okay. Paul Deloughery, I'm an attorney. I do, actually right now I do primarily probate and probate litigation. I also do estate planning, and those are the main things, and then some little offshoots and whatnot. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. So give us the high level of how did you end up in estate probate litigation in Arizona? What's the story that led you there?
Oh, well, I was with a smaller firm, a boutique firm that did high-end asset protection and estate planning for dentists and doctors and whatnot. And then things happened and I went off on my own, and I just had an idea that I needed to get more experience in the actual litigation. And I think maybe there were two things going on. One was I kind of enjoy the excitement of doing litigation, and I like the creativity part of it. And also it helps me be real when I'm doing planning work. Like I know what actually works and what actually does not work and whatnot, instead of just, oh, this is a form here, just sign this kind of a thing. So I feel like I can think through things a little bit better.
Okay. Be a little bit more. I like your way of putting it, of creative. Because when you are in the litigation side, you never know. Probably every case looks different than the last. So you've really got to pull from your wealth of knowledge. Is that a fair assumption?
Well, that's definitely a fair assumption. And then also, like I have, the name of my law firm is Sudden Wealth Protection Law, which is a bizarre name. The reason for that is I've noticed that there's accumulating money and then keeping the money and then passing it to the next generation. And those are very separate things. And estate planning supposedly is all about how to transfer it to the next generation. But what I've realized in real life is that it kind of is, but it's not really like it's. I tell the story sometimes, like, can I tell this will take like a minute, but I think Please. It will bring the point home. Okay. Please. So from an estate planning standpoint, let me use this analogy. You go to the grocery store because you want a dozen eggs. So you go to the egg section and you open up the top and make sure that none of them are cracked, they're all okay, and you carefully put it in your basket or in your shopping cart. You go and you pay for the eggs and you put it in a bag, and then and you walk to the car, carefully take the bag with the eggs and put it into the car. You drive home safely, and then you drive into the garage and you open the door and you take the bag of eggs and you drop it on the floor. That's what estate planning usually is like. Like in other words, you got the eggs and you got them home, yay. And estate planning is often focused on getting things to the next generation, but like how carefully that's done is I just find that there's not a whole lot of focus on that part of it. So sorry,
That's a great analogy. And actually, I didn't know what story you were going into. I wanted you to tell the story because in doing my research about you, I watched another podcast. You were talking about a story with your biological father. Would you mind sharing how that relates to what you do?
Yes. Okay. So I have my own version of that where, long story, there's an hour-long version of this, and I'll try to do the 2-minute version. So basically, I met my biological father for the first time when I was 42. He died 6 weeks later. It turns out I was his only child. There's a whole long backstory there. He was a Vietnam vet, and he and my mom got a divorce before I was born and all that stuff. So his identity was kept a secret from me my entire life until I finally learned about him when I was 35. That was a shock that, oh, you have, you were born with a different last name and all this stuff. Then I met him. He was in a nursing home. He died 6 weeks later. Turned out he had a $28 million estate, and I was completely unprepared. And so that just kind of goes, well, it brought home what I kind of thought before, which is that, the law successfully transferred the money to me, but I was completely unprepared. Like I viewed the money as a sick consolation prize. Like I actually wanted a father. I actually wanted a relationship with a parent. Here, we can't give you that, but here's a whole bunch of money instead. And I just went off the rails. I didn't treat it, like I would now. Now I'm more level-headed, I'd like to think. But at that time, it was I describe it as being angry, sad, and euphoric all at the same time. And I was able to function at the time only because those intense emotions all balanced each other in some weird way.
Yeah. Paul, I would imagine from a client perspective, if I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm looking to hire you, I say, man, this guy really gets it. Like you really get. Not every client you work with has just inherited $28 million from a father they didn't know existed, but it's still a concept you can relate to them. It's going to the doctor and broken your leg and they've broken their leg, or on a much more simplistic way, we talk to our clients and they'll say, I like our marketing company. Right. You should. That should be indicative of my work. I'm a marketing company. If I can do marketing for you, I should be able to do it for myself. So I would imagine from your client's perspective, that speaks volumes that maybe a piece of what they're going through. And I would imagine that it's helped you in your practice. Where were you at in practicing the law at that point in your life?
Well, I had just started my own law firm about 2 years before that. And it was off and running. And then I got a whole bunch of money. And at that time, there was just too much going on. So I ended up shutting down the law firm for a good solid 2 years. And then I started it back up again. I don't know. That's another indication of possible mental illness on my part that after 2 years and having money and all that kind of stuff, I couldn't imagine doing anything better than going back into being a lawyer.
Wow. No, I think that's indicative of you enjoy what you do and you're good at what you do. That's an interesting story. Thank you for sharing that with me, Paul. I'm appreciative of that. So as I said at the beginning of this, you and I met through actually the marketing agency that we run. We've talked about marketing, and you have a great mind for marketing. You can tell you like to tinker with it, and you enjoy it, and you probably understand it more than most lawyers we're talking to. Where does that come from? That enjoyment of the marketing side. What do you think that comes from?
Oh boy, maybe it's just like that I like figuring things out. And that's a great question. I don't know. Well, marketing is, I think Joe Polish says someone says it's applied psychology. So, and I've always been into personal development and psychology and that kind of thing. And so learning how people think is always fascinating to me. And how, like, why do they go to some other law firm and not mine when, I actually have more experience or something. And anyway, so it's interesting. All the little things that go on in people's minds that make them choose one thing over another.
Yeah. The psychology of it is what I tell people what attracted me to marketing all of these years is the psychology of it. My parents they've retired now, pastors growing up. So very much, therapists, right? Every Christmas still to this day is kind of stragglers and people who've lost someone and my mom and dad were always, just spending time and understanding people. And so now I see what I do and I apply that a lot on the sales side. I apply it on the marketing side. It's what I enjoy the most, trying to help our clients figure out, to your point, how can I get someone to hire me over everyone else out there? Because it's an extremely saturated market. So how can I get them to hire me over someone else? And, you said something at the beginning of this about you like the creativity of the litigation side. So I think you better than anyone. You like to tinker and figure things out and use some creativity and color outside the lines. Probably why you like the litigation side of it. Probably why you like discovering the marketing side of it. Because that's not everyone. I talk to lawyers every day, and a lot of them say, "I want nothing to do with it. Just tell me what to do."
So there's a deeper layer if you want to go down to like the real truth. Speaking of psychology, so I mentioned that my biological father's identity was kept a secret from me. For that to happen, my mom and stepfather were controlling, and they controlled what I heard and what I didn't hear. And in the course of that, they ended up just like that had a spillover effect. And so they controlled other things. They like my stepfather. When it was time to choose an instrument for band, when I was in whatever it was, 4th grade or 5th grade or something, my dad said, "Oh, you're going to learn tenor saxophone." Like, okay, what's that? And it's fine. I'm going to order one for you. Like there just things like that where I wasn't given choices. And long story short, so in the course of things, I experienced, like we all do, childhood traumas. And I think it was the trauma that has taken me a while to get over. And I know you think, well, and it was actually 14 million after estate taxes, but getting 14 million, well, how could that possibly be traumatic? But it was traumatic. Like it was a big change for me. That was no coincidence, no relationship here. These are completely separate things, but I was in the process of getting a divorce at the time and had this law firm going and trying to figure out the marketing at the same time and confused about that. And then I met this biological father, and then he died, and then I got a bunch of money, and I was like up and down and up and down. And so the whole thing, I'm not sure, for some reason, for some reason, the litigation, I think, it felt better for me. Kind of like why, what is it? Vietnam vets all ride Harley Davidsons. They all ride motorcycles or like do dangerous things. It's like, because of the traumatic past, they tend to want to, skydive or do something dangerous so they can, and that actually like blocks out all the pain so they can kind of feel normal a little bit. They feel normal when they're doing something like crazy adventurous. So anyway, there's something like that going on with me.
Yeah, that's so fascinating, Paul. Again, I'm appreciative of you opening up and sharing that. Tell me, I want to go back to the marketing side. What has worked on the marketing side for you? I mean, you have a successful growing law firm. And maybe if I can tee you up on both sides of this, what has worked and hasn't worked? If you're talking to most people who watch our videos or other lawyers and they're curious what other lawyers are doing. So if you're talking to that law firm who's 20 years your junior, what would you give them advice? Make sure you do this. Stay away from this.
Boy, trying to give universal advice. That's kind of like buy this car, don't buy that car or something. Like it's kind of a matter of taste. Okay, something that I've struggled with is marketing estate planning. And I think that's because, and I might be way off, but this is just my perspective. So when I'm doing estate planning, like I see the five, six, whatever main documents, and I know what those do and what they don't do. And all the competitors are saying, oh, you just have to sign, get these 5 things and get a trust and everything's going to be fine. And you'll avoid probate. And then meanwhile, I'm doing trust litigation like day in, day out. And these families all have trusts and they have wills and all this kind of stuff. And I've actually noticed, and I'm going off on a tangent and I'll stop and I'll answer your question. But as a litigator, I've noticed almost no relationship between whether a family ends up in litigation and if they had a will or a trust. Almost no relationship. The actual relationship is how well the family, how cohesive the family is, and do they have shared values and stuff. Okay, that was a tangent. But so I've struggled with estate planning. I think just because maybe I'm thinking about it or I'm overthinking it or something. The things that have worked for me, somehow I sunk my teeth into learning SEO, and I just started blogging like crazy, and that has definitely worked. Doing videos, I need to do way more of those. So that's something, and we should maybe talk about that. But yeah, that's absolutely something that's worked. And then, everything's like flipped around now with AI and, the Google's AI answers and all that kind of stuff. And so now you can't just like go after keywords with SEO. Like things are batched more, it seems like. So like you have to link, I don't know, if you have some blog posts about definition of executor, definition of personal representative, like you need to link those together. So the AI gods know, what to look for or something like that. Anyway, so it's, those are the things mainly that have worked for me.
Cool. Yeah, that's helpful. Again, I think for others to share, because to your point, it's taste or preference. Some people might say, and most lawyers, again, we meet are like, I don't know what SEO is. I don't care to know. But if you are, I do meet the occasional Paul who says, I do want to know and I do want to learn and help me understand what that is and how you guys can help. So to your point, it's preference. Love, I was champion over here for you to say the video thing, not because I'm the biggest fan of video. I hate doing videos myself. I don't know many people that enjoy seeing themselves, but I know what it's done for my business, and I know what it does for our clients' business. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. My team is probably so tired of hearing me say that, but it's true. Think about in every area of your life, you do business with people you know, like, and trust. And video checks off that box every time.
Oh, for sure. I have a story for you. So I'm going to put a shout out to a friend of mine, Ryan Sise, S-I-S-E. So he's originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and back around the COVID days back in 2020, he put on a cowboy hat and went out in the desert and started talking about estate planning and wills and probate. And he's kind of the cowboy lawyer. And and as goofy as it sounds, like he's one of the top 3 probate and estate planning lawyers in New Mexico now, because he put like, I don't even know how many videos, like it's not a massive amount. He did like 10 videos back a number of years ago. And now he's number 3 in Google. Unbelievable.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. It works every time. And I mean, to our core, we're a digital marketing agency. So SEO is our core foundation, and then PPC and website. But at the end of the day, we are hired to help law firms grow. That's it. And so now we are pushing more and more video. We're not traditionally a video agency. We've adapted because that is what the algorithm wants to see with the onset of social media. So if you can optimize your website, ensure that it's now traditionally AI and then traditional search, and you're incorporating video, it's going to be hard to beat you. And not just for law firms. I mean, and everyone watching this is some relation to law firms, but businesses now, you have to be proactive with the video approach. And the more you can provide answers, informative answers, guiding your users, it's going to help. And then, I talk a lot about video is it nurtures your client. It nurtures them down that buying funnel. Often when we talk to someone, they say, hey, I've watched a video of you. Oh yeah, you're from Alabama too. My accent is stronger. I play golf. Or what are the things that might make Ashley unique and Paul unique? People discover that and they can relate to you. So yeah, video is a great means to do that. Paul, what's next for your firm? Goals? What are you looking forward to in the horizon?
Oh, for me personally, I'm in the market for a managing lawyer. I'm actually at that point right now. So, thank goodness. And let's see what else. We'll just keep going. I have a brand called Probate Made Simple that I just started maybe about a year and a half or 2 years ago or something like that. And I have a crazy idea of going nationwide with that. So that's maybe next on the plate. All right. I don't know. Maybe it'll just stay as a crazy idea, but we'll see.
Love it. Crazy ideas are always the best ideas. Paul, thank you so much for sitting with me today, sharing, telling us a little bit more about you and your story. How can people find you? What if that associate's listening to this? How can people reach out to you?
Oh, awesome. So the main website is Sudden, SUDDEN, wealthprotectionlaw.com. So just go to the website. You'll probably have it in the notes also, but just go there, reach out. That'd be amazing.
Cool. Paul, thank you again. I'm appreciative of your time. And I cannot wait to see your brand nationwide and achieving all the dreams you have for it. Thank you for your time, Paul.
Thanks, Ashley.